How you doing, guys? In this video we're going to be talking about if you have a P0455 code. It's an EVAP. I believe it's listed as an evaporative emission system large leak. The first thing you want to do is you want to look under your hood and look for the EVAP lines. There's usually a line that has a bright green cap on it, which is a test port. That's one of your EVAP lines. You want to trace that line both ways to make sure that it's not cracked, that it's not leaking. You know, there's no clamps missing or anything. So we have that line. We're looking at it from the back of the engine there. Try and get this guy in here. Kind of an awkward angle, but yeah, we see it down in there again. Hidden underneath here is your canister purge valve. Like I said, you want to continue tracing the hoses down, making sure that there's no cracks in them, there's no clamps missing, that it didn't accidentally get torn on something, because you know, over time some of these lines just get worn and they crack. The next place you want to investigate is back near your EVAP canister. This is 2001 Taurus. These are basically the same from 96 all the way up to 2005. But your EVAP canister is located underneath the spare tire. And once again, you want to just investigate the lines coming out of it. Make sure nothing's cracked. One of them goes up to our fuel filler, which is up there in the fender. Just want to investigate all the way up, make sure nothing's come loose, nothing's cracked, broken. Okay, we come back down that one, and you have the other lines leading to the fuel tank. This one here that my hand is on, I believe that one actually leads back up to the front of the car to your fuel injection. This one here leads into your fuel tank. And on the top of your fuel tank you have a pressure sensor. That sometimes goes bad, but more often than not, that's not our culprit. And also, on your EVAP canister, I mean, we have the shield in place here. I'm not going to take it off right now because we don't need to make any repairs to that, but there's also a vent valve on this. The vent valve is a little solenoid. That one's normally open, so that guy usually doesn't go bad. I mean, like I said, usually. More often than not, it's your canister purge valve, which I believe is the culprit here, because that one is supposed to be normally closed. And once you get up to that valve, I'll show you a little trick to determine whether or not that one's good or bad. So we're just going to pause here for a moment. Now this is our new canister purge valve. It's located, as I said earlier in the video, it's located along the firewall. Like I said, there's a wiring harness in the way, but if you look really, well, no, I'm sorry, I can't even get a good angle at it. There we go. Here's the little guy right here. My finger's on it. That's your canister purge valve. You have some EVAP lines coming off of there. If that goes bad, when you take that off, you clean those two nozzles there that the hoses are connected to. If you can blow straight through it, that means that the valve has stuck open, and when it's in the open position, the computer's going to read that as a large leak, and it's going to set off your service engine soon light. So, way to remove that, I'm not going to actually film me removing it, because that's going to take a few minutes because all of these wires and whatnot are in the way. But generally, I'll show you on this itself.
if you locate that on the wall, on the bottom left, there's a bolt that's usually got a 12mm nut on it. There's a stud coming out of the firewall with a 12mm nut, and the one on the top here, which will be on the top right of the unit, has a 10mm nut. And you just have to, if you have some stubby wrenches, you can get your hand in there, you'll be able to get those off. And then there's just one connector at the top of the unit. You have two hoses that will go onto these two nozzles here, and you really can't mix them up because as you can see, they're two different sizes. But once you've changed that and you've cleared out the computer, that code P0455 should go away.